What if Qui-Gon Jinn fell in love with Shmi Skywalker? Before we start, I would like to say a huge thank you to our members Connor, Itmar, and Crystal. If you would like to become a member, the link is below. Our story begins on Tatooine, where Qui-Gon and Anakin meet. Qui-Gon immediately realizes that he is the chosen one, based on his high midi-chlorian count and connection to the Force. But it isn't Anakin who snatches his attention, but instead Anakin's mother, Shmi Skywalker. Qui-Gon was mesmerized by her. He had never felt such a strong connection about another being ever before. He was trained to suppress that part of himself that loved and cared for others, but Shmi shattered that wall down. For days on end they talked endlessly, getting to know each other and falling deep in love. He didn't know exactly what made her different, except the way he felt when he was around her. He never wanted to let this feeling go away ever again. When it came time to continue his duties as a Jedi and free the Chosen One from slavery, he approached Watto in order to make a deal. But in his mind, he wasn't going there just for Anakin. His goal was to free them both. Qui-Gon was a wise and powerful Jedi, but he never totally complied with what the Jedi Council or Jedi ever really wanted him to do. In his mind, he was ignoring the Jedi Code for what seemed like 100th time. As Qui-Gon bargained with Watto, Watto wanted more than he could offer. Millions of credits and more slaves to replace the two Skywalkers. It was way too much for what Qui-Gon was willing to do. But he was desperate and in love, and he would do anything to make sure he could free Shmi. He wasn't even thinking about the future and what the Council might think. Qui-Gon offered a roll of the dice. If Watto won, he would be given Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan's lightsaber along with their ship. But if Qui-Gon won, Anakin and Shmi would be free. Watto agreed and rolled the dice. Qui-Gon manipulated his trajectory with the Force so that he would win. Although upset and demanding a reroll, Qui-Gon left Tatooine with Anakin and Shmi. As they arrive on Coruscant, Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Anakin go to the Jedi Council. Introducing Anakin as the Chosen One, the entire council gasped. They didn't know what to say. Yoda spoke up, saying that it was unlikely and impossible. Qui-Gon explained to the council that his midi-chlorian count was the highest ever recorded. He was extremely passionate about Anakin, knowing that he would be the future to defeating the Sith and bringing balance to the Force. After multiple tests and Qui-Gon being persistent, the council agrees to let Qui-Gon train him under the rule that Obi-Wan takes Jedi trials right away. As Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan motion to leave the council chambers, Mace raises his hand for them to stop. He looks at Qui-Gon and asks him about his feelings. Qui-Gon was confused on what Master Windu meant, to which Mace explained that since he stood before them, his emotions and heart rate had been jumping and racing. Numerous times he tried to speed up the conversation so that it could be over faster. Qui-Gon denied these accusations, but Mace pried further and deeper into Qui-Gon's mind. Mace stated that another human was in his thoughts, a woman. Sensing the connection the two had, and finally discovering that it indeed was Anakin's mother, Shmi Skywalker. The council was in shock, and demanded Qui-Gon explain himself. There was no point in denying it, that would just make the situation even worse. Qui-Gon looked around the room before beginning to speak. He told the council he met and fell in love with Shmi, that she challenges him and makes him a better man. Qui-Gon expresses his feelings to the council and they listen, but they would not accept and welcome Shmi. Yoda said that on occasions Jedi were allowed to have attachments, like Ki-Adi-Mundi who had a family himself, but that was because his species were going extinct. They also said that if he were to train Anakin, having his mother around would interrupt his feelings, which is something they couldn't risk that with the Chosen One. The council finally finished, saying that Shmi must leave Coruscant for good, and never see him or Anakin again. Qui-Gon immediately responded with hate, screaming at the Masters and cursing this decision. His emotions got the best of him in a way they never had before. But he was silenced as 4 Jedi Masters stood up and ignited their lightsabers. Realizing what he had done, Qui-Gon apologized for his outrage. This is what his love for Shmi had driven him to do. There was still an issue on Naboo which needed to be fixed, but not by Qui-Gon or Obi-Wan. 2 other Jedi would be sent in their absence. They left the council chambers to Qui-Gon being extremely upset. Obi-Wan tried to explain reasoning to him, but it was no use. Qui-Gon was upset, and so was Anakin. He had just been told that he could never see his mother again, and when they both went to her new apartment, she was already gone. The Jedi had talked to the Chancellor, who formally banished Shmi Skywalker from Coruscant. This was a disaster for the 2 Jedi. Qui-Gon vowed to Anakin that they would find her as they got into their ship and left to search for her. Meanwhile, the 2 Jedi, Shaak-Ti and Kit Fisto, were sent to Naboo to deal with Darth Maul. Although, when they encounter the ferocious Sith, they were both slaughtered. Maul's rage only amplified, and Naboo came under Separatist control. Maul left the planet and took Padme as his prisoner. Anakin and Qui-Gon were able to locate Shmi's whereabouts very quickly. She went back to Tatooine, the only place she truly felt like was her home. However, as they arrived on the planet and made their way to Shmi's location, she wasn't home. In the darkness emerged the Sith Lord Darth Maul. He had been sent there by Palpatine, who knew exactly where she was going, as he was the one who had told her to go there. Maul paraded the fact that he had won. Shmi began to cry and call out for her son and the man that she loved. Maul ignited his lightsaber and drove it through Shmi Skywalker's heart, killing her. Qui-Gon screamed and ignited his green lightsaber to rush Darth Maul. Swinging with all of his might, he was determined to destroy him. He didn't care what emotions rose from his body. He used the light and the dark. All of his training practicing restraint was forgotten in an instant as he fought with fury. Anakin cried and cried as he ran over to his mother and picked her body up, pleading that she wakes up. But it was no use, she was dead. He looked up to see Qui-Gon and Maul still fighting. Maul's aggression and ability with a lightsaber was far superior to Qui-Gon. He had been trained from birth in the art of the dark side. His only mission in life was to kill Jedi. As he continued to fight, he was able to find an opening in Qui-Gon's defenses and destroy his lightsaber before stabbing him in the heart, killing him. Qui-Gon and Shmi Skywalker are now dead, both killed through the heart from the same lightsaber. Anakin once again screamed, but this time in fear. Now he was all alone, with a crazy man. What would happen to him? His life was surely over. How could this have happened? This was all Palpatine's plan, and it had succeeded. When he learned that the Chosen One, with a higher midi-chlorian count than Yoda, had arrived on Coruscant, he knew the boy could become the perfect apprentice. He set a trap to kidnap the boy, and so Darth Maul walks over and greets Anakin before taking him aboard his ship. End of part 1. I know it's annoying to leave it like this, but I will try and have part 2 out in the next couple of weeks. I'll put part 1 at the beginning of the video so that it may turn out to be a 20 or 30 minute video. I hope you guys enjoyed part 1, be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments below. Qui-Gon having a love interest is always an interesting idea. He was always a morally driven person, so having someone who challenged his beliefs led him down a path where he committed acts he may normally have not, such as screaming at the council and placing himself as an outcaster to go and search for Shmi. Although his death in the end was the only possibility, his mind was all over the place, so when he fights someone like Maul, he would discover those weaknesses and ultimately kill him. I want your guys' help with writing part 2, so if you've made it this far, comment below what you would like to see next, and I will try and join a collection of your ideas together and meld them with some of my thoughts so we can make this the best what if together. My immediate thoughts are bringing Obi-Wan back into it and having him hunt Maul or something like that. Maybe that is his Jedi trials. And you also have to remember that Maul kidnapped Padme on Naboo, which means he now has Anakin and Padme in captivity. Once again, a huge thank you to our members. The join link is below. Let me know what you guys would like to see in the comments below. Thank you all for watching, and may the Force be with you.